So this is the story plan for JMC 701. Um, so my story idea was to do the history of hockey in Springfield, dating back basically to when they got their first professional sports team in the 1960s, which was the Springfield Indians, and working its way up through the history of where it is now today. Um, what my story is about, kind of like I just mentioned, it's going to start with when the Springfield Indians came into existence in the 1960s and how they worked their way up. Then they became the Springfield Kings, went back to the Indians. Then they became the Springfield Falcons, and then most recently, about 6 years ago, to the Springfield Thunderbirds as well. Pretty much covering all their team history, as well as also noting in there that, it's Springfield, Massachusetts. It's the birthplace of basketball, but yet it has a very rich hockey history that no one really knows about. And I think it's something that just needs to be shared. Um, and I'm proposing to do this story now because I think you see it more now than ever is that when you think of Springfield, you think of the birthplace of basketball. A lot of the games that get played here, they're having college tournaments are now here in Springfield every year, but no one talks about how good and how rich their hockey history is. The hockey team here sells out like almost half their home games every year in an 8,000 seat arena. They just played in the finals a couple of years ago, and they have the second most championships in history behind the Hershey Bears. And it's this small city that has this very rich hockey history and no one ever talks about. And I feel like when you compare it to basketball, it's like Springfield had a basketball team here in the NBA G League for 4 to 5 years, and it vanished. It went out. And Springfield's been here for hockey for 60 plus years. On top of that, too, the headquarters of the league they play in, the American Hockey League, is in Springfield. So it kind of shows you that I think it's a city and a hockey and a team. And I think everyone in this little part of Western Mass that I live in, I think realizes how important hockey in Springfield is, but no one else really does. And I think I'm proposing it now to kind of show like how important hockey in Springfield is to like a lot of people. Um, I think I'm the right person to do this story because I mean I've grown up in Western Mass. I lived in a small town right next to Springfield called Wilbraham, and I've been going to Thunderbirds, Falcons games since I was a kid. I'm 23 now, so and with that being said, I've been going since I was maybe like 4 or 5. So I mean, I've been going my whole life. Finally saw them go to the finals a couple of years ago, and I mean, it's just since I've been here, hockey's always been the thing. Basketball was never the thing here. I mean, like I said, I've been to Falcons games, Thunderbirds games my entire life. I've been to maybe one NBA G League game when Springfield had a team here. Just it feels like hockey is just the sport to have in Springfield, which is funny. Like I said, when you think about that, the birthplace of basketball is in Springfield, and Springfield couldn't even hold on to a basketball team. But I think it shows you how loyal the fans are here to the hockey team that we've had here for 60 plus years. And so I think just with how I am, and I think also the connections that I have too, and people that I can talk to about all of this, I think it's just the right way to go about it, in my opinion. I mean, I've got my dad's been a season ticket holder for years. I mean, he's been going to games since he was a kid. My uncles have been around since the start of the team in the 60s and they've been going ever since. So it's been like a family thing as well. So we've always been big hockey fans and that's how it is today. I mean, as you can see in the background, you see my dad's a Canadians fan. He's got everything up in the basement. I disagree with him. I'm a Maple Leafs fan. So, but I do think that just I have the knowledge of the subject to really make this into a good story. And how I'm proposing to do the story, it just kind of depends on the different elements. But I think if we have to put if there's like an essay to go into this, I think the essay would be, like I said, about the history. So it's going to be about all the teams that came through, the Indians, the Kings, the Indians again, Falcons, the Thunderbirds, and just a brief history of each. Then talking about all of the affiliate teams that came in. So obviously the first time around, I'm not exactly sure who came in, but then when the Springfield Kings came in, it was the LA Kings who were their affiliate team. When the Indians came in the second time, the Islanders were their affiliate team. Then when the Falcons came in, they had a lot of teams. The Oilers were here twice, or the Oilers were here, the Lightning were here, the Coyotes came here twice. I believe at one point as well, I want to say the San Jose Sharks were here before they got their team in Worcester. And I mean, the Blue Jackets as well were the last one. So in a 20-year span of being the Falcons, they ended up having like 6 or 7 different affiliates. And then since becoming the Thunderbirds, it started with the Florida Panthers, and they're now with the St. Louis Blues. So it could be a story, an essay about that. I also planned on putting some sort of like video in there. I don't know how long the video has to be, but it would just be footage of the games. I would say footage of maybe the locker rooms, if I can even get a chance to get in there, but just jerseys, the rafters, banners, everything like that. And I think it would just be cool to just get like a whole view of the arena and kind of just do like a narration over it about what everything's about. Like who comes here, who plays there, everything like that. I think from an interview perspective too, I think I could put some clips of some interviews in there if I can figure that out. Or I could also as well just put all the recordings of the interviews in there along with it, just to kind of show who I've been able to talk to. So depending on what pieces I need, I think that's the way I'm going to go about it. I would say that if there is a way to incorporate my recordings in there or just some way or some other ways to do it as well. I'll probably think about it, look at the instructions and kind of go from there. But that's the plan right now, is just to go over the history and then get some interviews and get some good, stuff about the subject. Because there's plenty of people to interview, there's people that work for Thunderbirds. If I'm going to talk to people at the AHL headquarters, that would be amazing. Maybe some people from some of the teams around here, Providence, Bridgeport, Hartford, people who come in there, like their top guys, like their managers, and talk about the history of Springfield. I also think someone like the fans would also be a thing too. Like I said, a lot of my family been in hockey for a long time. I think one people that I thought about the most was the lady who runs the booster club for the Springfield Thunderbirds. I mean, I think she's been there now. I know she's been doing it since I was a kid, and I'm 23. So she's been there all 23 years. I think she's been doing it over 30 years now. So, I mean, if that doesn't show you right there, like how loyal some of these people are to what they do, I mean, I think that's it right there. I think it's just the loyalty that these fans and these people show to this team in Springfield. And it just needs to be talked about. And that's why I'm thinking I'm the person to do it. And I think that's why I'm also going to base it around that. So, yeah, I would say that is my story plan for my final project. So,